Willie D Live.
What's up, family? Good news for all who don't like Donald Trump. And that's millions, hundreds of millions, could be billions. In any event, a federal judge in Oregon has just blocked ICE from continuing warrantless arrest. I ain't got no problem with that. Yeah, Oregon on the map. Oregon on the map. Yeah, who is this guy? Who is this guy? Mustafa Kasubhai. Yeah, man, that's the guy who blocked ICE, told him, hold up, man. Y'all can't just be arresting people, man, and you ain't even got a warrant. But see, that's what happened. Give a cow, give a rope, and he want to be a cowboy. Let's get into the story. ICE blocked from warrantless arrest in Oregon. Interesting. Yeah. A federal judge on Friday ordered Immigration and Customs Enforcement officers to stop arresting Oregonians without a warrant and without making a probable cause determination of escape risk. U.S. District Judge Mustafa Kasubhai placed a preliminary injunction on the agency, finding a high likelihood a group of immigrants could prove the merits of their claim that ICE is abusing its arrest and deportation powers. Defendants' practice of conducting warrantless arrests without the required individualized probable cause determination of escape risk is not tentative or interlocutory, and rather represents the consummation of defendants' decision-making process to engage in this unlawful conduct. Kasubhai, a Joe Biden appointee to the District of Oregon, wrote in a 52-page ruling. ICE officials maintain the arrests are not part of any policy or pattern, and the arrested plaintiffs were unfortunate individual cases. Kasubhai seemed to doubt that, noting a full record of similar cases in the district. The judge found the challenged ICE policy constitutes a final agency action, and the plaintiffs were likely to succeed on the merits of their claims. Kasubhai also said an injunction was necessary, despite ICE's insistence that any future harm is only speculative. I ain't got no problem with that, and here's why. If you allow these people to just arbitrarily arrest whoever the hell they want to, run up on people whenever they feel like it, what's going to stop them from doing it? The only thing that stops most people from committing crime is the fact that they don't want to go to jail. That's it. America is already corrupt. It would be 1,000 times more corrupt if people had no fear of going to jail. Yeah, we got some good people out there, some decent people who are going to follow their heart and who is going to follow their good religion, their spirit, and go out of their way to try to do the right thing. But so many more don't really care about being righteous. Everybody has this, well, not everybody, but many of us, we have a sense of entitlement. The police should not be able to just arrest people without a warrant. Well, we're arresting you because we feel like it. Do you know that most police officers don't even know the law, but they work in law enforcement? Think about what I just said. Imagine you was a music producer, but you ain't never produced music. You're a music producer, but you don't know how to play one instrument. You don't even know how to work the boards. You don't know You don't know how to read. You can't read music. You don't know nothing. You don't even know the difference between an A studio and a B studio. But you're a music producer. That's how law enforcement is, and it's not just ICE. It's law enforcement across the country. All you got to do is just watch one of these videos on any given day. This is real life. Don't watch cops. Watch the real videos. Watch real situations where people are speaking to the cops oftentimes, and they tell the cops their rights, and the cops don't even know what they're talking about. They start talking about code this code, whatever, like, especially when you start talking about those police accountability guys, like my boy Big Nick. They be citing them. They know the law better than the law know the law. Imagine you being a lawyer. Let's say you're a real estate lawyer, and a person who is not even a realtor know the law better than you know it. That's what what we're dealing with a lot of people who are in law enforcement. And here's another thing, fam. The police shouldn't be able to just kick in people's doors. They shouldn't be able to just run up in people's house overnight in the middle of the night. Unless they're dealing with a violent criminal, like a violent criminal. They shouldn't be able to run up in people's homes, because here's the thing. Oftentimes, that so-called violent criminal is inside of that house with an innocent person. And when the police go up in people's homes, they usually target low-income neighborhoods. Why do they do that? Because they know more than likely they're not going to be held accountable. So when they run up in people's homes, oftentimes, they are really reckless and they will kill. I've known cases where they shot people through the window. In fact, they shot my homeboy's daddy through the window. My homeboy daddy was in his bed asleep. They was looking for somebody, and it was the wrong house. They went to the flashlight and all that kind of stuff. They saw him. He got up and they shot him through the window, man. They didn't see a gun, knife, and he didn't have a gun or anything. They shot this man through the window. This was a hard-working man, a man who had worked the same job for 30 years. And he was about to retire. They killed that man in cold blood. They shouldn't be able to get away with that. Oh, no, man, they shouldn't be able to get away with that. But a lot of these laws, they don't know the law. And when they break the law, their superiors cover for them. Their superiors, their peers, and their superiors cover for them. That's cold-blooded. That is why there's so much crime and corruption in America. Because the people who are tasked with taking an oath to uphold the law, to serve and protect, are not doing it. They're breaking the law. They're in the front of the line, breaking the law. They have the highest concentration of uncivilized mutts. They should not be able to just run up in people's homes. Also, oftentimes when they run up in people's homes, the person that they're looking for is not in the home, or it's the wrong house. And even when they hit the wrong house, they get a pass. Their bosses cover for them. The DAs refuse to pursue an indictment. The grand jury refused to indict. If they go to trial and if 1 out of a million get convicted, it's a slap on the wrist. But they just took somebody's life. They should not be able to do that. I got a buddy who got a lot of money, and they thought it was going to be sweet. So the police, dudes who was working, and they high-level police, alphabets, they decided to run up in his house. It was like, I think he said it was 4 of them. They ran up into his house, and he shot their asses up. He hit what he think he said he hit 3 of them. He hit 3 of them and bagged 1. Yeah, he bagged 1 of them. Yeah, they thought it was sweet. And he was like, he said, man, I thought it was my girl at first, man. I thought it was like my girl, but, you know, next thing you know, I see some running up the stairs and she's screaming and stuff. So he said he grabbed this thing, he grabbed that heater just in time. And he banged on them boys. They came through there, and they had masks on. But they came in, they came in screaming, FBI, FBI. But they wasn't FBI. No, let me back up. They were FBI, but they were off duty, and they was coming to get some money. But they left with some lead. And the other one, like I say, left in a body bag. They should not be able to do that. If somebody, there's too many ways for the police to arrest you safely. If the police want to arrest somebody, all they got to do is canvass the house that person is in and wait for them to come outside. And they could safely execute an arrest. But now they want to be Billy Badass and kick in doors and get out, show me your hand, get out. They want to do all of that. They want to terrorize people. Yeah, you got them. They out there. They want to terrorize people. They don't have to do all of that. They can wait. They can wait till somebody just walk on out. And if they're gonna just hold up in the house and never come outside, then you go in. But there's ways to do that, but they don't want to do that. They want to run up in there and kill something. Oftentimes, they're not really going in there to apprehend anybody. They're really going in there to steal, rob. Yeah, it's a lot of dudes that's in law enforcement who are thieves and murderers and crooks. So they look forward to going on missions where they can steal and rob people. When they go in to make an arrest, especially when it's D-boys or somebody they think that's got a lot of money or whatever, might be doing something slick, they going in, they all up in the closets, they looking for watches and Rolexes, and they taking, I got the watch, I got the Rolex, well, I want this. That's how they do. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.